Horror comedy is often a tough sell. Some people just don't like to laugh at their horror. And what's funny to some is a groaner to the next person. I found these two horror comedies to be two of the best ones of the year, which is why they're showing up on ML Miller Frights, Best in Horror Countdown 2020, counting down the best in horror from October 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2020. Welcome to the official Best in Horror 2019-2020 countdown on ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. Be sure to give this video a like, share it with your buddies across the electronic superhighway, click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you're in the Chicago area and love horror, you've no excuse not to head out to the Chi-Town Movies Drive-In for the Music Box of Horrors. Every day in October, for 31 nights of horror, there will be late shows, Sunday through Thursday, and double features every Friday and Saturday night. Every weekend is themed: Grindhouse Fridays, Rip-Off Saturdays, and Sequel Sundays. Tonight they're playing The Stylist, which is a Chicago premiere. It's directed by Jill Gevargizian, and it looks to be a fun slasher, though I don't know a lot about it. I can't wait to check this one out. Look below for a link to the schedule, where to get tickets, and directions to this awesome horror event. Number 3 is Russia's Why Don't You Just Die? It was released on April 20th, 2020. Why Don't You Just Die is available on digital download, on demand, and Blu-ray from Arrow Films. This was directed and written by Kirill Sokolov. When his girlfriend Olya, played by Evgenia Kriegsde, tells Matvey, Alexander Kuznetsov, that her father Andrei, played by Vitaly Kayev, abused her when she was a kid, she convinces Matvey to head over to her parents' apartment to kill him. But Andrei is a hard-nosed cop, not afraid to bend or break the rules, and tough as nails, something Matvey isn't really prepared for when he shows up to Andrei's door with a hammer and a gut full of courage. Thus begins a comedy full of errors, hard knocks, deep bruises, smashed furniture, broken bones, and flying bullets. I guarantee you'll never find another film released this year that is so much full of carnage, mayhem, and catastrophe as Why Don't You Just Die? While it works as a single-setting action film, it's also an uproariously funny and unbelievably thrilling piece of work. Why Don't You Just Die has the structure like Pulp Fiction, as the timeline skips back and forth and all over the place. Still, it uses modern stylized shots, utilizing slow-mo, practical and light CG effects, physical stunts, and plenty of slapstick sight gags to give it a style and power all its own. Sure, Why Don't You Just Die probably wouldn't exist if not for Quentin Tarantino, Guy Ritchie, and Danny Boyle's films, but there's a kinetic dynamism that pumps through every second of this film. The characters that crash around and into one another in Why Don't You Just Die are memorable and amazing. First and foremost, Vitaly Kayev is a powerhouse of an actor. He simply looks like he's made of stone and conveys a mountain of threats in a single cold look. Seeing his Andrei go toe-to-toe with the in-over-his-head Matvey is like watching a David and Goliath tale unfold in a typical family living room. Alexander Kuznetsov's Matvey is great here, as he has a subtlety to him that really works off of the more over-the-top gruffness of Kayev. I love Kuntzinov's little gestures, expressive eyes, and exasperated demeanor as he realizes he's bitten off way more than he can chew with this fool's errand to take out Andrei. Evgenia Kriegsde's Olya really exudes that femme fatale toughness that this smaller role requires, and I also thought Michael Gore's turn as Andrei's partner was poignant and integral to the story, even though his screen time is limited. Still, this is Kuznetsov and Kayev's film. Seeing these two actors use everything and anything they can to get their hands on to take each other out is a balled-out battle choreographed like nothing I've ever seen. I can't wait to see what filmmaker Kirill Sokolov has in store next. He has a uniquely beautiful eye for making absolute pandemonium exciting and fresh. Through uncontrolled moments of sheer havoc, to up way too close attention to the smallest detail, there isn't a scene in this film that isn't full of energy, relevance, and fun. Why Don't You Just Die is a film you will stand up and cheer for. It's got an amazing soundtrack full of exciting and poignant Russian songs. It's an adrenaline shot to the chest, chased with a 5-hour energy drink and a line of the white stuff. It's an action film, a comedy, and a crime story, but the carnage that ensues between the various players in this manic play definitely cements it into the realm of horror as well. Don't miss this one, folks. There is nothing like it released this and any year. Another raucous good time is the Shudder anthology, Scare Package. Scare Package is streaming exclusively on Shudder. It was released on June 18th, 2020. It was directed by Emily Hagins, Aaron B. Koontz, Chris McInroy, Noah Segan, Courtney Andujar and Hillary Andujar, Anthony Cousins, and Baron Vaughn. Scare Package can best be described as a spattering of in-joke humor for those who love the horror genre. It is made up of up-and-comers in the horror genre who have seen all the films that we have, love them, and want to have fun with the tropes in imaginative and gory ways. Scare Package is an anthology of sorts, with the connected tissue being a retro video store. If you're a lover of 80s horror and the video stores that would shovel that stuff into our innocent brain pans with a no-fucks-given attitude, then Scare Package is going to be a must-see for you. For the sake of time, I'm going to cover just a few of my favorite segments of the film. Scare Package begins with Emily Hagins' Cold Open, a self-referential and meta-commentary on the first 5 minutes of any horror film. When a bit-part character named Mike, played by John Michael Simpson, refuses to simply be a background player anymore, goes off script, and tries to intervene in the main story, things start going bad. Cold Open is the kind of in-joke horror that I'm talking about. If this is not your 1001th horror movie, you might not get the in-jokes, as Hagins has fun with these well-worn tropes. Seeing Mike, the eternal background player, have an inner battle with his duty to play his part versus his desire to matter in the world is a meatier character than one usually sees in these types of short stories. But Simpson pulls it off, and Hagins creates a hilarious story that makes you want to root for the underdog to do well. Cold Open is a meta-fun treat that is cleverly used to open this film. It's at this point that we're introduced to Chad, played by Jeremy King, of Rad Chad's Horror Emporium, the aforementioned connective tissue between all of the short stories of Scare Package. Chad is king shit of this turd mountain of a store, where he has to deal with annoying customers like Sam, played by Byron Brown, whose life goal is to one day work at the store. When Chad hires newbie horrorphile Han, played by Han Tran, Chad and Sam try to indoctrinate him with a series of grueling tasks to prove he can make it in the video store biz. This usually means directing him to videos that end up being the stories of this anthology. Derivative of Clerks, these connecting segments move quick through the one-liners, quips, put-downs, and sight gags, making one viewing to absorb all of the laughs almost impossible. If you laugh too hard, you're going to miss the next, and I have to say I did that quite a few times. Usually the wraparounds are the weakest part of these anthologies, but a strong sense of comedy and a plethora of retro classical video in-jokes make this one stand out as one of the best ways to sew the anthology together. Scare Package peaks with my favorite installment of the bunch, entitled One Time in the Woods, a short that mixes body horror, camping horror, slashers, and a ton of other subgenres to make a gleefully gory barrage of madness and mayhem. Everything starts out pretty calmly until someone steps in some goo. The random comments reacting to the craziness going on make this short solid gold. I don't want to ruin too much, but this one really goes over the top with effects and keeps the ball rolling at a frantic pace. The final beats of this segment make for some of the grossest and funniest parts of the film. I love this rapid-fire bloodfest segment by Chris McInroy, the twisted mind behind the popular festival short, We Summoned a Demon. There are plenty more segments that I'd rather leave for you to discover. Like all anthologies, some of the installments are better than others, but overall, I think Each of the stories delivers solid laughs, top-notch and gross-out effects, and a deep love and respect for horror that you don't often see in this cynical age. If you know and love your horror genre, you've no business missing Scare Package. That'll be it for today. Check back in tomorrow for my next pick on the countdown. Please chime in down in the comments and let me know what you think of these films, how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own list. If you like this video, please pound that thumbs up button. Share this video with your social media addicted pals. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com. That's where you can find the rest of this countdown as well. Don't forget I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks that you should look for. GRAVETRANCERS is out right now, and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, will be out in late November, early December, Diamond Order Code APR 201712. And be sure to subscribe to this channel, and ring that bell for notifications, so you can be the first to see my future videos. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're